Phoenix, ladies and gentlemen, the buff. We've got the information. First of all, just to point out, this is what Phoenix is going to look like when you eventually get her, or the model, sorry, is going to change. Whether or not this will be next week, we'll have to see if that's the case. The current model for Phoenix looks like this. This is the artistic render of it. In-game, of course. What the heck's happened here? Yes, this is something Kabam actually hinted to that they're going to be fixing next week. It's the lighting issues. Yeah, that's very much Dark Phoenix. I don't know what's happened there, but hey, Kabam do Kabammy things at the end of the day. Anyway, in this video now, we're going to look at the buffed information. We're also going to compare in-game to how it is at the moment, and we'll be trying out some of the rotations to see if it works, because there are some things about the champion that, a new rotation you might have to consider. So by attacking, Phoenix builds up Phoenix Force charges, which you can use to fuel her deadly Cosmic Flame aura. What's more, by charging her heavy attack before ending a basic combo, Phoenix can both trigger the aura and stun opponents helplessly inside it, roasting them alive. That's cool. Visually, I want to see how that works in game, but effectively we're doing this kind of like before ending a basic combo. So, I don't know, light, don't do the fourth light, heavy cancel, boom, stun, and it's there. It's very difficult to kind of play that out in game in a minute, but we'll try to see if we can practice that rotation, because we won't actually get the stun, but we'll talk about that and showcase that. Like my main man, King Groot, she seems to have a high amount of survivability, which is hinted to right here with the survivability being very high. This is all Phoenix Force charges expiry orientated, as Phoenix converts them into healing energy, regenerating its host constantly throughout the fight. That, combined with a powerful regeneration and immortality on Phoenix's SB3, makes Phoenix a master at staying hale and hearty. I didn't read that correctly. All that is before Phoenix is awakened and gains access to her immortality from the start of the fight and extra healing after being revived. Whether this plays into the right of the Phoenix, which is the in-game currently at the moment, where you get knocked down, you get up again, but you get a load of healing as a result, but that's only a 1 per fight. If it's a constant fight per thing, that's great. This means that we've got this kind of survivability that is comparable to King Groot with his unyielding might, which allows for a huge amount of regeneration, and Hercules' son of Zeus signature ability, which allows for that immortality. So a nice combination there of elements, and this could be the best survivability champion in game. It is on paper, and as I always say, yes, Kabam can put it on paper, but it's in practice and playing it yourselves to know that that is actually the case. I'm excited, but at the same time, this will be, I want to say next week when the update goes live. Maybe this is when this comes in. We'll have to see as well. And similar to King Groot, that the longer the fight goes on, the more damage you're able to do through Malice. There is something sort of similar, I guess in some way similar to North Star. As you build up and do more of X, Y, or Z, you're able to, for the length of the fight, do more. So as you're building those things, they're able to do more. Special attacks are the thing. New special echo mechanic. Each special attack she throws empowers future special attacks, causing their effects to reoccur for each previous special attack thrown. This power multiplies rapidly and wildly, and summoners must be careful to avoid overloading. So a bit similar to Bishop then in that particular regard. So there's some lots of changes about the champion that are very much exciting. As well, Incinerate immunity and throws Incinerate. Now I always thought the Phoenix was an Incinerate immune champion. I guess not. From reading up some of the abilities champion has, yeah, she hasn't been. So that's scary. Kabam lists the strengths of the champion. Once she gets going, Phoenix's rate of application and uptime for Incinerates is truly unmatched. After throwing a special attack, she can apply Incinerates in the triple digits in under half a minute. She herself is also immune to Incinerate, which of course we know about. And regeneration, the Phoenix Force keeps its host alive by any and all means, and that is on full display here. In addition, having powerful in-fight regeneration and immortality, Phoenix also regenerates massive amounts of HP after being revived, making her a fantastic option for repeated use against difficult fights. Oh, that's annoying, because then the more you think about it, more like this would be a great Epoch of Pain champion, because your sustainability and survivability would be there, in theory. But then she could be used for a lot of endgame based content that we maybe haven't considered in the past. Like, maybe she would be a great option for the ordeal coming up, or maybe she'd be a good option for this content or that content coming up as well, or content like Necropolis. She could be just a go-to option for things. So pretty exciting, especially if you get a 7-star version. It means that she's a little bit more accessible to do some of those kind of end game pieces of content that are a bit frustrating and require something that's got a bit of, punch to it. A power generation is a very interesting aspect of going back to back with specials. When some champions excel at doing, great special attacks, but it's like, oh, if I did 2 SP2s right here, then I'd be able to absolutely cook the defender. This time it's the case with the champion getting access to a power game buff off the SP1, then she's able to go back to back at some point with SP2s, which is going to mean some meaty damage. Yeah, and if you are going back to back with the SP2, each hit of the Fiery Vortex grants 1 Phoenix Force charge. Landing the final hit activates Cosmic Flame Aura for 4 seconds, which, as we know, is the main access of damage point. After ending Phoenix Force charges expire, 75% slower until the new one is gained. And then Special Echo, when Cosmic Flame Aura would expire naturally, it reactivates it 1 time. On a signature ability, it looks like she counters auto block, as for each Phoenix personal fury buffs up to 6, reduces the opponent's auto block ability accuracy by 35%. So theoretically, you only need 4, because you can't do it on 3. No, you can do it on 3. Yeah, so you only need 3. Huh, silly me. But there you go, 3, and then you'll be able to auto block counter. Nice. And you start the fight with exactly 60. When you start with 60%, 40%, or 20% of max health, she can get a regeneration buff, healing 40% of her max health for 30 seconds. Wow. So what was it? Dr. Voodoo. She's got like a Dr. Voodoo mechanic to her. That is pretty cool and gives you at least survivability, and as well saves you, as Kabam say, on potions. But it does mean you have to kind of like rely specifically on her. And is she the ultimate quester, an endgame content champion? Not saying she's that, but she could be very helpful to that cause. So the champion seems to have this kind of Incinerates meets like fury buffs meets special damage type, like not mechanic but play style and rotation. Kabam give this indication from this that charging a heavy attack is the way to go, and they said one of the main goals is Phoenix goal is essentially to combo into heavy charges to put lots of Incinerates on the opponent. Keep in mind that while Phoenix Force charges typically fall off between combos, you can get more of them by parrying special attack hits. I'm not sure if I like the last part from the ramp and the build, so maybe you can make that distinction as to how you want to play, whether or not you want to do the parrying the special attacks, which is a very important timing element to it. It's a fine art to do it. Or you're going to be that kind of like medium, light, and then like not doing a full 5-hit combo, but kind of like not finishing the combo, or kind of not properly finishing the combo and then heavy attacking into it. And that's going to be something of a trust issue I think I'm going to have with it myself, because charging a heavy attack after landing a non-combo ending basic attack inflicts a stun passive for 2.5 seconds, removing when the opponent is struck, unaffected by ability accuracy. And that is something that is, again, it's a trust exercise with trying to do a unique playstyle for a champion. There's other champions that do the same and similar, but what I'm saying is like sometimes it's difficult. If you're only got in your head you're doing 5-hit combos, you're like, oh, I'm going to have to change it up and playing Phoenix. Charging a heavy attack triggers Phoenix Cosmic Flame Aura for 2.5 seconds. It is not already active. When triggered this way, it ends early if Phoenix stops charging her heavy attack. Over the course of the duration while the opponent is near, Cosmic Flame Aura inflicts a number of Incinerate debuffs equal to 1 plus the number of active Phoenix Force charges when it's started. Okay, so you're going to have to be careful of watching the Phoenix Force charges in order to apply the Cosmic Flame Aura. So there's a lot of wordy stuff going on. Each Incinerate deals X amount depending on the rarity. Damage over 30 seconds, max stacks at 12, which for context isn't a large amount of damage. So I can imagine this is either for like a 6-star rating one, maybe there'll be a lot more for a 7-star. Test it and see how the damage is. Is it going to be something that you're going to be interested in rotating this way? Will you rotate in a different way? Is it part and parcel of how you want to do damage with this champion? Anyway, heavy attacks inflicted 250 armor break debuff for 10 seconds. Handy if you're going up against a lot of the tech champions. You need to reduce down on armor. It also feels that you need to have special echo. What and how it's being described here, and how Kabam say, look for special echo to see which abilities trigger once per stack of special echo. With 0 special echoes, those abilities don't trigger. And the special echoes are like here for the SP1, power gain buff. We talked about going from one SP2 to another SP2. Here it's when the flame aura would expire naturally. It reactivates one time, which can be helpful for ramping up damage consistently. And an SP3, it's special echo consumed and gain a regeneration buff for 10 seconds, healing 0.33% of max health per fury and power gain consumed. And whether or not you want to get your Fury buffs, then you'll have to do an SP1, because you gain a Fury buff for X amount every 5 seconds. Plus additional one for every 5 Incinerates on the opponent. So you have to play into getting Incinerates. So you will have to do the heavy cancel method in order to get the Fury buffs, in order to be able to get more damage off the SP1, or get the Fury buffs off the SP1, to then we'll continue on with the fight anyway. Those buffs last 3 seconds and expire one at a time, but are paused while Phoenix does not have 3 bars of power. So you might have to play it like, oh, I'm not going to do, I'm just going to do SP2 rotations. And therein lies maybe the rotation for it. So we'll have to see, I think, when we play the champion and how we want to maximize damage output. And Kabam's guide to this is try to have at least 10 Incinerates on the opponent by the time you activate the special attack. Keep in mind that Incinerates from quest node count while using this special. Pay attention to how many special echoes you have, and be ready to quickly throw your special 2. It seems like you'll be pushed to 3 bars of power, because you want to get those Furies left on. Don't throw the SP3. There seems to be like a lot of stuff to this champion. I will say stuff because I'm just like, well, it does feel a bit stuffy with things. It's like it's complexities to a champion, to the rotation. I'm sure it's very straightforward when you get to play it. It's just the way the Kabam word stuff is like, it do be very wordy. And is it unnecessarily wordy? Well, it's a complex game, isn't it? SP3 is an issue because it's like, consume all personal Fury buffs, power gain buffs, and Phoenix Force charges to do the thing. But this sustainability and survivability, and get the Immortality buff and regeneration buff healing that. And yeah, Phoenix would the charges consumed when Phoenix would be knocked out to gain an Immortality buff and regeneration buff. So that's when you're kind of like keeps you in a fight, and is very much like it will get at a gel free card. If you're doing Necropolis and felt that you're going to be knocked out at a certain point, then at least you could just have that on and, oh great, I'm about to be knocked out while I'm alive. It's kind of the intercede with Heimdall, if everybody knows that. That's kind of like that. So it will get at a gel free card from being knocked out and doing a bit more damage, but it does mean your ramp is a bit difficult. If there's any mistakes, then of course this helps out a bit. So what we're going to do right now is do a little bit of a play around. 1, 2, 3, and heavy. So it's going to be something like that. That if you didn't like what I was just illustrating right there, and that point was that was the effective rotation, like 3 hits, 4 hits, no 5-hit combos. You've got to be careful how you play the champion, because if you don't do the rotation of like 3 lights or 4 lights, 3 lights. Or say, like, I don't know, light, medium, light. Basically, do 4-hit combos. That's kind of like it. Apart from like certain like other types of rotations, because you want to get that heavy charge. That heavy charge that gets you the stun. That gets you the Incinerate. So that method right there would get you. We're going to try again. So like medium, light, heavy attack, like that. That was a 4-hit combo, or it should have been at least a 4-hit combo. That would be the kind of, again, way that you would apply said Incinerates. But I'm looking forward to it. It should be a really, really good buff. Interesting. There's some synergies as well. I'm not going to go into, because otherwise the video is going to be so long. The raw recording for this is 22 minutes, actually nearly 23 minutes. I want to edit this down as well to kind of like a better time frame. But that was the Phoenix buff, the Phoenix rework. We've got a few more videos coming at you today, including the what you didn't know, or didn't see, the St. Patrick's Day event, which is coming very soon. We'll talk about that in a video later on. But yeah, looks good, bit wordy, but on the other hand, should be fun. And good to see that Kabam have put in information about relics that they recommend, but also recommended stat focuses. And that is nice to see as well. Anyway, that's been it for the video. Thank you very much for watching. Have a lovely weekend, and cheers. Bye.